thrill seeker of wisdom. Today, we embark on yet another deep dive into the psychosocial stages of development as mapped by the legendary Erikson himself. Each stage is a challenge, a proving ground. Master it, and you gain strength. Falter, and the lesson remains unfinished. Success isn't just about moving forward, it's about forging the virtues that shape who you become. We'll break down each stage, not just for theory, but as it plays out in real life, raw, unfiltered, and packed with examples. All right, now just a quick revision of what we went through last week was the psychosocial stages. Introduction, explaining what's the point of it, why do we utilize it, how it applies to adolescence, the adaptability of this specific theory, and the reason why I absolutely die for it. And then also we spoke about the implementation strategy. So that's a fantastic way of looking at this theory and how we can actually implement it using practical examples. So today we are starting with Unit 2, where we're going to discuss the actual theory and how it manifests in reality. So we're going to take what we know, we're going to take the theory, and then we're going to implement it into practical strategies that we can give to our clients, to our counselors, to our teachers, to a variety of different professionals and train them up in this model so that we can start assisting our clients, our children, our teenagers at the level at which they are at. So we're starting off with the first, and then over 8 weeks, we will then be discussing each one per week. So stay tuned, and I'm looking forward to breaking down each individual aspect so that people can see how simple this theory actually is in practice. So they are trust versus mistrust, autonomy versus shame and doubt, initiative versus guilt, industry versus inferiority, identity versus role confusion. That's where the teenagers are at. And then intimacy versus isolation, generativity versus stagnation, and ego integrity versus despair. So I'm going to be covering not just what specifically they are, but also identifying the age groups as well, because it's important to know where specifically this falls, because that definitely does help in identifying and then being able to refer for diagnostics and treatment. This definitely does assist the counselor in identifying who the person needs to go to based on the level of the wound. You know, counselors are called emotional paramedics. Because we are supposed to be the ones who are there on site. We are first responders, and then we tell the client where to go to. So then we refer to psychologists or psychiatrists or doctors, or that's the role of a counselor. The role of a counselor is to be a first responder. So the first stage is trust versus mistrust. This is from infancy. This is the infancy stage, which is from birth to about 18 months. Some people argue 1 year. Some people ask 24 months, which is 2 years. 18 months, that's a year and a half. That's usually the best bet. But anything in that realm is perfectly acceptable. Then the crisis. Now, there has to be a crisis for something to occur. For you to grow, for you to develop, there has to be a crisis that you are facing, that you now need to overcome. This challenge, if you would. It tests your character. That's what life does. It tests your character. So for the gamers out there, let's say, for instance, you were playing like first person and you are now facing the boss of the stage, the final boss. You are now having to fight these characters to get to that penultimate crisis that then occurs. And then what happens is now will determine where you are, what you achieve. Now, there's lots of these little things throughout our lives. Sometimes they are really big whammies and sometimes they are really small ones. And that's super chill. But when it's the big ones, it does feel like that final boss, the dragon at the end of the game. And it's like, I don't know how I'm going to finish this. I'm playing a game at the moment myself where yeah, I'm gonna have to play. So I've chosen not the most complicated, but not easy. I've chosen like the the medium hard mode, okay? Because I did do the previous games I was playing, I did do the easier ones, and I was like, I actually got kind of bored. And that's me saying like, But I don't understand why people why wouldn't you want to play the easy game? Why would people want to play harder? It's true, you do grow into it, hey? But it is true. As you grow over time, challenges, what you used to have, don't become they're not as overwhelming as what they were prior. Think of yourself, let's say for instance you're in grade 10. Think of yourself when you were in grade 1 and think of the difficulty that you experienced within your curriculum, within learning versus now at a grade 10 level. Like you will not find grade 1 things challenging because it's not at your level. So it's very interesting how as you grow, your character also develops and slowly but surely you develop competence in certain arenas and areas. So you have to develop that crisis for you to be able to actually get out of bed. Most of you, your problems are just that you're aimless, is that you don't have any direction in life. You don't know what to do. You don't know where to go. And every time you ask someone, you get bitten, your hand gets like your arm gets like bitten off, your head gets bitten off. It's just toxic. You can't just go to someone and say, look, yeah, I'm struggling with something. Can you please help me without judging me? It's like you can't. But anyway, so trust versus mistrust. So the crisis within your first stage between birth till about 18 months is that you develop trust. When caregivers provide reliability, care, and affection, the lack of this will lead to mistrust. So people who from birth to 18 months old, they need you to love them. They need you to be there. They need you and they trust you and they want to trust you. And if I cry, my mom's going to be there. If I cry, my dad's going to be there. They cry when that, that, that you are guiding them in a position where they believe that your opinion is something that's going to assist them. They don't doubt you. And this, if achieved, if successful within this stage, you develop hope. Now, the key question that one can ask is, can I trust the people around me? Okay. So if you are at the position at the stage where it's like, can I trust people around me? No, I can't trust my mom, I can't trust my dad, there's this or that. Don't react. Don't overreact. Calm down. Everything's fine. Just identify these things. All we're doing is we're just looking and going, where are my problems? We're not blaming. We're not wanting to throw things in people's faces. It's because of you that I'm so messed up. We do not advertise our mental illness. We keep it to ourselves, like we handle our issues with decorum and pride, we just keep our dirty laundry to ourselves. People are not entitled to know how you feel. Okay, your emotions are your emotions. You keep them to yourself. You speak to your therapist. Even still, sometimes things are just best left inside yourself where you can keep that and you can just nurture that part of yourself that isn't there for everybody to see. You are allowed to keep that side of you pure and un, untouched, unbroken, unscratched. Okay. So can I trust the people around me? No, I can't. Okay, so now we know where the problems are. Let's have a look and let's see how we can fix it because we are starting from the bare, the basic. Within the part three. The part three is the final video of this series, specifically the psychosocial developmental theory. The next videos will obviously contain other information. So the one after that is going to be, I'm leaning towards explaining the industry. I think explaining homeschooling and schooling and the different laws and counseling and stuff, and actually orienting the client. I think helping you guys understand the entire situation, everything that's going on. I believe we give information out to our clients where our clients are 100%, they are as competent as what you are in making this decision. You have given them every ounce of guidance that you possibly can, and you have referred them to specialists who have agreed with you and your strategy. That's the flex. So, application. Okay, we foster a safe and supportive environment where teens feel heard and valued. Establishing trust is a foundational element in your interaction. So, in the third stage, we're actually going in the third part, we are actually going to be going into the application thereof and how Verum specifically implements this with clients. Remember that we are busy developing a model, we're busy developing a theory. So this every single video that I'm releasing now is me explaining my business and my business model, um, and how we can take this and apply this on a very large scale to actually start focusing on well-adjusted instead of maladjusted teenagers, children, teenagers, specifically teenagers, and then into adulthood. It's actually teach these kids how to be adults. They don't have to figure it out like we did, that they are equipped with knowledge that they can go into the world and do it. You know, it's basically Verum is like, it's a curriculum that you run alongside any curriculum. It's purely and utterly a thing of it's there to assist in teaching things. So it's almost like adding on not subjects, but it's almost like taking life orientation seriously, the way life orientation was meant to be taken. Any teacher who teaches life orientation and who allows their children to go on their cell phones and takes that as a free lesson, I think should be disciplined, like intellectually, because it's like you are passing up a golden opportunity to connect with these kids, to guide them, to mentor them, and you don't want to because it's too much effort. And if you run down the subject, and yeah, I'm sitting going, you do know that that entire qualification, the entire subject is literally like 3 courses in my qualification that I did, and you're mocking it, and it's like I don't actually appreciate that. Developmental psychology, it's community psychology, it's political sciences, it's sports science, kind of without the nutrition, but if you add consumer studies, it's sports science. Um, And what's the other one? It's study skills, which I mean, my goodness, wait until I release my study skills. I have been developing this training video for it, or not video, but I've been developing this training for so long. You have no idea how long I've been doing this. It's been a decade that I've been working on my theory and my study skills, my study methods and techniques. So my study strategies. One of my clients said today, what did he say was brilliant? He's like, study. I don't know. I should find out from him what he said because it's a vibe. Okay, anyway. And sorry, I like going off on tangents. So like just bear with me, enjoy the conversation. Clicked on the video, you saw how long it was going to be. You can leave if you want. Don't. I mean, this is pretty cool and very interesting. Put me in the background. Go and like go wash the floors. Go stand outside and go hang up some washing. You sit with your feet in the pool, just do something. Put plonk me in your ears and just leave me in the background, okay? As I speak, things will resonate with you. Just live your life and just allow me to just be part of your existence. Anyway. Yeah, so and like careers and career choices, for example, is such an opportunity for the educator to talk about professionalism and ethics and talk about the interview process, a code of conduct, what it's like being employed by a corporation, by a school, by a boss. Um, Maybe source some local talent, some recruiters where they can come out and they can showcase their abilities. Do some role playing with some of the kids and go and have a practical session with them. But no, it's just easier just plonking them in a classroom and not doing anything. Meanwhile, they're out there in the classes and just waste away while they're busy having unprotected sexual relations. They're busy having babies. The teenage pregnancy rate is absolutely appalling. You know, we are fighting symptoms of problems constantly. You have issues. Fix them. You know how to fix them, but you don't want to because you're running away from it. You see, and that's why this theory is so important because, like trust versus mistrust. If you mistrust the world, why? What happened to you? Who hurt you? You've got to figure that out because then you can go, okay, I was 5 years old and something really bad happened to me in my life, or I was 3, or I was 7, or I was 15, my entire world just got pulled out from underneath my feet, and I just the world just became grey after that. And I don't know what happened. And years have passed, and I'm just miserable, and I don't know how to get out of it. The massive men lead lives of quiet desperation. That's a quote from someone. So what you do is you go onto the internet and you type it in. So you can go, um, the mass of men lead lives. Why? Quiet. Desperation. Yeah. Henry David Thoreau, I'm assuming. So the phrase "the mass of men lead lives of quiet desperation" is a famous quote by Mr. Thoreau, suggesting that most people live uneventful lives filled with boredom and unfulfilled desires, often conforming to societal expectations rather than pursuing their true passions. So as you can see there, you always, whenever you have a question, just hop online. I mean, use the internet; it's there. Um, yeah, at the end of the day, if the overlords are going to take over and we're going to be in the matrix, you might as well have fun on the way. Okay, so the approach is to be consistent, to be reliable, and to be open in communication, to validate their feelings and experiences, to build trust, and then we must use empathetic listening to show understanding and care. So that's what we do with our clients when we start working with them. It's a thing of, okay, we first need to focus on building foundations. And the number one foundation is that of trust. I need to be able to trust you. If I say to you, are you working? I need to know that when you say to me, yes, I believe that you are sitting behind your laptop or behind your books and you are concentrating and you are working and you are trying your best to get through that so that we can do other things so that I can help guide you through this whole process. But if I can't trust you, if you're sitting at home playing games and stuff, I will know. It will come back. It will come out. But I don't want to feel like I've been lied to because I'm trusting you. And then you lie to me and now I can't believe you. Now I have to treat you like a baby. And I don't treat my clients like babies. I never have and I never will. I treat them like young adults. I treat them I try to model as best as possible the ability to, how do I explain it? To handle myself under difficult situations and circumstances. But I try to maintain myself as extremely professional as what I can while still being down to earth. It's a difficult balance, and I do hope that I get it right. Um, but with regards to relationships with these kids, what I do is I show them how to be consistent in my emotions, rocking up every day. So it's this constant back and forth. And I need to know that what you are telling me is the truth. And I always say to the kids, do not lie to me. Do not lie to me. If you tell me right now, I have not started, I have not looked at this assignment, it's due tomorrow, and I don't know what to do. I will say, like, okay, fine. Number one, why didn't you tell me? Because I was scared. Okay, so then we'll go and we'll explore that. Or um, because I completely forgot. Okay, that's a completely different situation. We'll go and explore that. There's always ways and means around things. And if I can be that person that shows them, these are your options. Let's brainstorm solutions to the situation you find yourself in because you are needing to find out who you are as a person and you're needing to um, grow, but how? Where do you start? What do you do? So I try to be consistent with my clients as much as possible to say to them, I'm not going to scream and shout at you. I'm not going to scream and shout at you. I'm not going to scream and shout at you. Because when I say to the kids, like, why do you think I'm going to scream at you? So they're like, because that's all we know. We only get screamed at school. We only get shouted at school. And almost every single client that I have worked with has said that. That's all that we know. We only know what it's like to be screamed at. We only know what it's like to be insulted. And it's like, oh, what's going on in these places? And then you want me to put my child into a school, and I'm like, nope, not happening over my dead body. So with regards to these kids, you want to be reliable. It's the thing of if I don't get to something, you must remind me because I will do it. This is a commitment. type situation where I walk with you and I show you how to do things step by step by step, how to figure things out and build skills within you. But trust is number one. That is your most basic um, skill that you have. You need to trust. You need to learn how to discern as well. All right, and in next week's session, we're going to be discussing the second stage, autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is located in early childhood development from 18 months till approximately 3 years old. Thank you for joining and for attending in this amazing session today. It was fantastic getting to discuss this with you, and I hope that something resonated in your lives, that it spoke to you. And come back next week for more information on this theory and how we can implement it within the use of our clients and our children and ourselves so that we can overcome these obstacles, these hurdles that life has put in front of us. And so another piece of the puzzle falls into place. Understanding these stages isn't about ticking boxes. It's about recognizing where you stand, where you've been, and where you are headed. Growth isn't linear and mastery isn't instant, but awareness, that's where it all begins. Keep questioning, keep seeking, and most importantly, keep becoming. As always, from my heart to yours, I bid you all a very fond farewell.